As far back as at least 7,000 years ago, the Chinese discovered through careful observation and through their inner understanding, given perhaps by forces above, that there's a flow of energy in the body. This energy flows continuously through, from the sky and from the earth. And this energy they called Qi. They found that just as the earth has a north pole, a yang end, and a south pole, a yin end, the body also has a yang end and a yin end. And the energy flows up and around, just like the earth. They sensed how the energy flowed around the body in different channels, the meridians. And when one sits or stands in great stillness, one often feels this coursing around the body. The Chinese were particularly observant, and having a written language so early, they were very meticulous about writing everything down and passing it on to the next generation to develop and discover further details. And you know, they built up this bank of precious knowledge of the Qi energy, of the channels in the body. And this knowledge of Qi and the basic philosophy of balance between the two opposites, the yin and the yang, is surely China's greatest contribution to the world. And time will tell how precious this treasure is. And we're going to utilize this knowledge to help the body in its house cleaning. All the different Qi channels in the body, the most important they found was the kidney channel. That is the channel leading from the bottom of the soles of the feet to the kidneys. And clearing and strengthening this channel, they found, was so important to keeping the body young and vibrant, and to increasing its power to fight diseases. And here, may I introduce to you Professor Feng Li Da, who I meet every time I attend the international conferences on Qigong, whether it be the International Qigong Science Association or the World Academic Society of Medical Qigong. Professor Feng is a renowned immunologist, holding the important post of Deputy Director of a huge hospital in Beijing. She's also a Qigong master, and she specializes in the research in the use of Qigong in relation to cancer. Here's a photo I took of her delivering her report on results of experiments of projection of Qi energy from the hand of a Qigong master on stomach cancer cells in a laboratory. And the report was at a Beijing conference in 1988. Now, positive results were reported, there being about 30% of the cells being exterminated. External Qi effect is therefore limited. It's good, but it's limited. But when the person tries bringing this in themselves, the results are wonderful. And the most important thing is that everybody can do it. It's not difficult. We can have it flowing around and coming in and out all the time. And it's certainly very strong and very powerful. Now, before we go on with the walk, a few general points to remember. Confidence, determination, and persistence. And we balance the emotions and try to avoid what the Chinese call the seven evils: overexcitement, anger, worry, too much thought, such as pining, sadness, fear, and shock. About clothing, we wear warm, loose clothing with no tight belts and have soft shoes. Now, we shouldn't eat hot, stimulative food. No raw garlic, no raw onions. No beer or wine, no smoking either. And before starting in the morning, only have a little food if you wish, and eating should be 30 minutes after practice. It should be 1 hour after a meal, before we start. And there should be rest of half an hour before food and other activities. Now, there should be no sex at all during the practice period. And after emission, this should be restricted to preserve the vital energies. Now, remember that. Now, morning practice is essential, besides other times in the day. And let's remember another 3 words: round, soft, and distant. Round, well, the body movements should be rounded. And soft, the movements should be soft and gentle. And distance, look far away into the distance. Always looking level, straight ahead, eyes not looking up, down, or to the side. Now, this is simple, easy to learn, and it is effective. Mr. Yu Da Yuan, who went over the fine details of this with me, is a living example of the power of this walk. When I met him in 1988, he'd been practicing the walk for 11.5 years. When he started doing the walk, cancer of the lungs had developed to 3 other places. But as soon as he started with the walk, that just stopped there. No, it didn't disappear, although he said he has seen many cases where the hospital could no longer find the cancer. He said he just keeps on doing the walk. He learnt directly from Madame Guolin, or should we say Grandmaster Guolin, who created this set from her rich knowledge of Qigong movements. Her father was a Qigong Grandmaster, and so was Guolin. She was an artist, a lecturer in painting. Guolin was taught by many great masters, and she especially liked the sequences connected with 5 animal play. That's movements symbolic of animal play. She reminds us to think of the bear when doing the walk, and think of being in a forest and be surrounded by green trees, just like here. There are many variations in the walk, and today I'll teach you one that is effective and easy. A very important content of the walk is the heel going down to touch the ground, with the toe pointing upwards. This activates the flow up the kidney channel, which from ancient times has been known to be so important for strengthening the life force and the lifetime of the body. With the breathing, the characteristic feature is the 2 breaths in and 1 breath out. With ancient Qigong, this is often a method used. But without the combination of the walking steps, many have found this rather difficult to do. And the combination with the walking now, as created by Guolin, we should say is a historic step forward in Qigong. Now, there are many theories as to why this works and how it works. There are some who think that the extra intake of oxygen enables the body to break the chain reaction in the development of the cancer cells. And that's the reason the body is able to use this extra intake of oxygen while practicing Qigong. And we do know that when we practice Qigong, the consumption of oxygen by the body is low. And there are many studies that point to this. So the body uses the extra oxygen to do other things. However, let's leave that to those who are doing research for the moment. Our task is to use the knowledge that we have. And the Chinese and many others in the East have been utilizing this knowledge for thousands of years. Professor Feng Li Da said in her report at the Third International Qigong Science Conference, which was held in Kyoto, Japan this April, that Qigong is definitely the healing of the 21st century. And while listening to her speak then, I thought, how true that is. The body has all the ability to protect itself and keep itself healthy. It has all it needs, and what it needs only extra is the right condition and respect and support. In the present level of general understanding of the human body, we often feed it extra quantities of substances that it lacks, but not enough is done to restore the function of the mechanism in the body that produces or absorbs that substance. It's a well-known fact that if one introduces into the body too much of a substance that the body should produce itself, then quite often the body will stop producing that. The Chinese understanding is that the body needs qi, that the flow of qi should be strong and clear all the time. And that is the secret of good health. Give it qi, and everything else will be okay. The body will solve everything else itself. Now, acupuncture is stimulation of certain points of the body precisely to strengthen the flow of qi in a certain direction to regain a certain balance. Many people recognize the benefits of this as they've seen its results. Now, that just illustrates the power of qi flow. And what we're doing now is a part of Qigong. Qigong is the practice of certain gentle movements to open up that flow. And Qigong meditation is sitting or standing quietly to enable the qi flow to go around the body freely. It feels good and it does good. In the case of this walk, Mr. Yu Daoyuan told me that he's made a survey of 5,000 patients who've been doing this walk while continuing their normal, limited treatment, and he told me the result. Well, after 5 years, 58.5% of them had no development in cancer. And in some, it could not be discovered anymore. He said that another 13.8% had seen development, but was still active. This has been considered quite a good result. Now, some years ago, I gave a special class for the walk. Classes for the walk are always free. And I got feedback from a participant, David. 2 years later, when he came to me, he said he had persisted in doing the walk and that the chemotherapy for Hodgkin's disease seemed to have no detrimental effect on him at all. And he just continued working all the time. He came to take up lessons on the other Qigong movements because he said, well, he'd better guard against complacency, and he wanted to learn more. Now that's a good point. When one is in a fairly good state, one must not forget to continue practicing every day. The requirement is to practice for, say, 10 minutes, and then have 10 minutes sitting down meditation. This is to be done several times a day, according to how one feels. The ideal amount of time would be a total of 1.5 hours walking, in different intervals, of course, with a total of 1.5 hours of meditation. And don't push yourself too much. Just enjoy it. It's lovely. It's relaxing. And someone said now that since I've had this break, I've learned to enjoy myself. I enjoy the movements and the relaxing. And that's what I think every moment of life should be enjoyed. Now, we've been given a stretch of time on this earth to enjoy ourselves. So when we go down to the milk bar for a bottle or a carton of milk, just feel the sunshine. Just look at the trees, rather than thinking what's got to be done next and next. Every moment is a moment to be enjoyed. And who knows how long we're going to be on this earth. We're going to enjoy every moment we're here. We don't know how long we have on this earth. Nobody knows. My friend Dr. Lewis tells me, nobody really knows, and nobody can say how long one has on this earth. And I think when someone says we have this period of time, I wouldn't take any notice of it, because how long we have, well, that relies on what we do ourselves, and it's also up to the forces above. And so we enjoy every moment we have on this beautiful earth. And now this is what we do to help ourselves, and it's really effective. Now, before we start moving in what we call the walk, we have 3 phases in preparation. And they're very easy. One is standing, one is 3 special breaths, and the third is 3 movements with the hands that are opening and closing. Now, before we start, we have a very important aspect, that is which way we face. For problems in different areas, we face a different direction. Now, if the problem is with the liver, the gallbladder, or the eyes, we face east. If the problem is with the heart, the small intestines, and the tongue, then we face south. Problems with the spleen, we face southwest, problems with the pancreas, the large intestines, and the nose, we face west. Problems with the stomach, the esophagus, the mouth, we face northeast. Problems with the kidneys, the bladder, and the ears, we face north. And with all other problems, we face north. So that's the direction. So here we are, and we begin the preparation. Now this is simply standing with the knees slightly bent. But the knees do not go over the toes when they're bent. The shoulders are relaxed. The arms go slightly away from the sides of the body, like this. And the hands, well, they're just naturally going down. If one has high blood pressure, well, they point directly down. And so we stand like this for about 2 or 3 minutes. We have the tip of the tongue against the top palate, very lightly. And you look far, far away. And then you gradually close the eyes. So while you're doing this, the mind is quiet. You are very calm. And if you like, you can count 1 to 64. So the thoughts of the figures take the place of other thoughts. Well, those are the basic things about standing. And then we go to the second part. The 3 special breaths. Breathing in through the nose and breathing out through the mouth. Just like this. You'll notice that the mouth is just slightly opened. Now, after one of these breaths, there is an ordinary breath. And then you go to the next one. An ordinary breath, and then the third one. And another ordinary breath. Now there's a special position for the hands too. They're placed just below the navel. You'll notice that I place the left hand first. That's the position for the man. So, just like this. Left hand first, right hand on top. Now for the ladies, it would be the right hand first, and then the left hand on top, just like this. Now if the problem is below the diaphragm, the hands are placed in a different position. First, the middle finger and the thumb are put together, and the hands go around to the back to be placed on the kidney point, just on the back here. And the hands are kept in these particular positions right through the 3 breaths. However, if the problem is with the kidneys, the hands, with the fingers in the same position, thumb touching the middle finger, the hands would be placed on the side, just like this. And if the problem happened to be just right at this belt area here, then the hands would go down by the side. And one more thing, if there is a problem of high blood pressure, the hands go down like this, the fingers pointing to the ground. So this part is with the hands in a particular position, taking 3 special breaths. The special breath being breathing in with the nose, breathing out with the mouth. And the third part, the 3 openings and closings with the hands. So we breathe in first, then out, hands facing downwards, elbows relaxed. Breathe in and out. In and out through the nose. In and out. Now, would you like to do that with me? But we have another point, that is, the eyes are closed, gently closed, and the tip of the tongue is against the top palate, very lightly. Okay. Well, that was easy and very relaxing. Now we start with the walk. The full name for the walk is medium pace, wind breathing, natural walking, Qigong. Wow, what a mouthful. Well, medium pace is not too fast and not too slow. Wind breathing is breathing as you would do if you were taking in a beautiful scent. So it's somewhat like using the middle part of the nose. It's not breathing in very heavily, using a lot of strength. And there are 2 quick little breaths in and 1 breath out. And it goes like this. Have a try with me. Let's start. Now, before we step out, we have a beginning stance. Basically, men start on the left foot, ladies start on the right foot. And this is the basic beginning stance with the toe pointing to the ground. The left toe for the men is pointing to the ground, about a fist away from the arch of the foot. And the ladies would begin with the right foot pointing to the ground. Same position, a fist away from the arch of the foot. That is the general rule. But if the problem is with the liver, the gallbladder, and the eyes, the starting is from the right foot. Okay, so beginning stance, and then one step forward with 2 breaths in. And you'll notice that the heel goes down with the toe pointing upwards. Now all these movements are connected with the flow of Qi energy, so that the Qi will flow up and down and strengthen the body. The next step now here we breathe out and we have another 2 breaths in, and this one is the same except we turn the head slightly to the side where the hands are pointing, like this. Now we'll do that again. So you see, it's 1 and 2 and 3 and turn. 1 and 2 and 3 and turn. Now for the ladies, right foot first. So, did you see the turn there? Right. So it goes 2 short breaths. 1, 1, 2. 1, 1, 2. Let's have another go. Okay. Now all the time we should be looking far ahead. And Grandmaster Guolin tells us that we should think of green. Think of the green forest. Think of the green bamboo forests. And the movements are very graceful. We think of the graceful movements of the bear because the bear has the strength. Now, halfway through, you'll notice that there's lots of saliva coming to the mouth. That's very good. There's lots of qi in the saliva. We call this the jade liquid, and we pay special attention to swallowing it down, right down to dantian, the area which is 2 fingers down from the navel. So 3 gulps of saliva down to dantian. And then you may continue on with the walking. And when you start again, You would go like this and start all over again, breathing in, 2 breaths on one foot, breathing out on the other. In the end, we have the closing, which is exactly the opposite sequence we start. So first, we have the 3 opens and closes, tip of the tongue against the top palate, eyes gently closed, 3 opens and closes. Breathing in, hands coming together. Then the 3 special breaths with the hands either in this position, just below the abdomen, or in this position, middle finger and thumb touching, going back to have the back of the hands on the kidney point, or on the side, or just by the side. The special breaths are breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the mouth, and an ordinary breath in and out after that. And then we have the standing, relaxing for 2 or 3 minutes. Shoulders relaxed. Looking far ahead or gently closed. Knees slightly bent. Waist relaxed. Arms slightly away from the body. And after that, you may like to sit down if it's not too cold, and have some meditation for about 10 or 15 minutes. You may have the hands like this, gentlemen, with the left hand on top, thumbs touching. Ladies, with the right hand on top, thumbs touching. And after the meditation, the hands would be placed on this area, just like this. Men, left hand first, ladies, right hand first. And it's very easy because you just put the hands towards the body from the original position. While you're doing the walk, you might like to use the Walkman. Having music, dance music would be very good. It gives you a regular beat there. Okay, good practicing, and get better quick.